Hello! Welcome to the fourth episode of Skald's Tale Eclipse. Just a brief amount of housekeeping before we officially get started. Skald's Tale is a brand that transcends all kinds of stories and all sorts of mediums. We do have podcasts and the stream that you can come check out, and a lot of our other players are doing other projects that you may be interested in. But before we jump in, we do want to thank our partners. First and foremost, we do want to thank a Tabletop Audio, who allows us to use a lot of our background music, Harry Scannell, who composed our theme music and soon to be composing some character themes, and some incidental tracks by battlebards.com. Additionally, we want to thank Gabriel Pickard for allowing the use of some of his map sets, as well as Philip Wright, as we may see here today. And I also, last but not least, want to thank our relationship with TTRP Theater. They have allowed us to stream on here, share some of their creative space, and we can feed off their creative energy to hopefully create a product that you will enjoy. But with that being said, let's roll credits. Bad things happen in darkness. What is unseen is perhaps the most scary. Often I look out into the darkness and wonder what terrors await me. I often wonder during those early days what would happen without the protection of the light, and what would happen to the world. It was a fateful day when the world turned dark, when the flock of ravens appeared to distract us from the true horrors that were to come. The day the sun turned dark, blocking our only protective shielding. I remember the day well. People were initially okay until the weight of the consequences sat in. When dark things began to arise and unexplainable phenomena happened. Chaos ensued and people pointed to the kings and queens for answers. However, this was only the start. Creatures that only can exist in darkness made their way to the public eye. Some with altruistic intentions and others with wicked plans. I am here to tell you the story of the day that the sun was taken from us and the ensuing weeks that followed. A story of heroes and villains that defined history. Please hear the story and hear the events that transpired during these foreboding times. For I have the true story, not the lies you may have heard. My name is Christopher Rondeau, and welcome to Skald's Tale Eclipse. Last session, we are in the town of the Vagabond Crossroads. A town that seems rather small, seems rather off the map. Nothing that would normally garner attention, except through supernatural means you have been brought here. What that means, what are these marks that seem to be appearing that are causing you pain? What seems to be these creatures you are attracting? What is the mystery that surrounds the sun that has disappeared behind some mysterious force? That is what we are here to figure out. Right now, we are just in combat with a couple of skeletons and a small plant creature, but quickly being able to dispose of them. You now see this creature who turned into a tree, who looked towards the mirror with a moment of realization despite the giant orc in his way. Recognizes her and goes, "I'm here for her." And this is where we're going to pick up. Right now, Doc, Bork, and Demir are outside, just trying to deal with this creature. and Misty's inside with Wallace, who is the cleric that sort of runs this church, trying to get questions as Wallace basically tries to set up his equipment to hit a battle that he is a little late for. Any questions?
Didn't he say something like calling me the hate marked or something like that?
He called you the Fate Marked. Fate.
Hate marked. Okay.
That's two different ideas there.
All right.
There is a slight rain in the air. You get that sense of moisture. It's sprinkling not terribly hard, though it was raining a little harder earlier. And it is getting to pure darkness as there is no moon.
Demira would look at the creature and say, "What do you mean you're here for me? Do you have a message for me or something?"
It is a pilgrimage to find the Fates Marked. Instead, we found an orc.
And one who will not hesitate to turn you into mulch should you make one wrong move towards her.
He disappears back into the tree.
Oh. So you just wanted to come see me?
His face will appear as far away from Bork the Orc as possible. So if Bork the Orc is looking towards the center of the tree, it appears like higher in a branch to kind of look down. It's like, are you not the Fate Marked? Is that not you, a beautiful lady?
I do have a mark on my shoulder, if that's what you mean. The leaf?
All hail the Fate Marked. All hail the Fate Marked.
All hail? Bird.
He's gonna stow his weapon back away from the tree and look over at Demira.
All hail the Fate Marked.
Oh no, that's really not necessary.
And he gives her the biggest smile ever, and almost as if hinting towards some sort of inside joke, he goes,
"See, I told you. I saw it first."
The plant creature is gonna kind of reappear into the normal his normal form. Small creature has like leaves covering his body as a small spear. He's gonna touch one of the skeletons with the tip of his spear. I think these ones were looking for a Fate Marked as well. Until they again ran into an orc.
Demira looks at Doc.
Thor looks back at Demira and is like, "Don't look at me. He's most likely the one inside."
Did I kill friends? Not again.
I will say I think Misty and Wallace can overhear this conversation if they want to.
Well, if there's someone else with a mark like this, we should talk, I think.
A mark like what? Wait, you have a mark too. May I see it?
I guess.
Oh, wait, hold on. Does it look like a skull?
No, it's a leaf.
Oh. Yes, the one inside, the one I am traveling with, she also has a mark, but it is not a leaf. It is a skull.
Well,
that
makes
would explain
sense.
Things. Yeah.
At least in
She
conclusion to
gets
this.
hunted by this thing, a plant thing, and she's got a skull, and so a pair of skulls came looking for her.
Yeah. course.
How auspicious.
I'm gonna look towards the window where the two are inside.
Sorry I killed your friends. I'll try not doing it again.
Bork, maybe you should not yell that across the town.
Oh,
Just a suggestion.
right.
Misty, what are you up to?
So when I heard that someone was talking about the marks, I think I would have left from the church and went a little bit closer to them, but still kind of standing to the side, behind that bush of swords. And then Borg shouts out that sorry for killing my friends. I would kind of say to him in not shouting, but loudly, these are not my friends. I don't know what you're talking about.
Wallace will follow you out in a couple seconds behind you.
Oh, hello. Nice to meet you. Could you come over here? Demira waves at Misty.
Why?
I believe you also have a mark on you, your friend said, and I have a mark.
I glare at Doc, really? Did you have to say? Why? And then I look at Demira.
If it's okay, you could stay over there. It'll just be harder to talk, I guess.
Doc goes, oh, we're not friends. We're just traveling together. She is some strange lady I found in the woods.
Oh,
Have you?
I gotta respond to that.
I've been there.
You, girl. You also met him?
Who?
No, you don't look like of his choice option, I guess. Right, Doc?
Right, what? You didn't say a sentence. You just spit words out of your mouth.
The one who told us to go north and this thing happened in the sky.
Yes.
She doesn't look like his option, right?
Doc will look back to Bork and Demira and go, I don't suppose either of you have seen a tall fellow in a hood with a scythe recently, have you?
No, but you did say you were sent north. We were also told to go north, except I was told by, a fae.
A fae.
Yes, a demigod, Dev, if you've heard of her.
No. Do you know why? Why are you going there?
I assume it has something to do with the eclipse that seems to be lasting an unnatural length.
And you just took your guard and you were just going there? Not knowing why?
God. Oh, no. Well, all right. We'll go with that. God, yes. God,
Oh,
yes.
no. This is my... Wait, you don't want to tell them?
Well, I don't mind telling them that part. Fiancé, we are to be eventually wed. But-
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, well,
We
a
were
happy
sent
congratulations.
north because we have a destiny, as I imagine the two of you do. The four of us, destined. Whatever.
No.
thing
There's
has-
no destiny, man. It's not the
Say
case.
that. But you've been marked with a top hat man with a scythe.
This
and
guy
now
there?
These two came looking for you.
No. This guy out there, do you see him? I point at Billy. He was trying to figure out. Probably he can remove that nonsense.
You cannot remove fate, dear. It's yours. Yours to embellish, to take hold of, and use as a mighty weapon.
Well, maybe we should talk inside. So you kind
Yes.
of look
Yes.
behind as there is a couple people coming from the well, the city center, a little bit, just kind of creeping in. Probably going to notice a skeleton soon. Wallace runs over and takes his cloak and kind of like puts it over the skeleton bodies, and it's like, well, let's inside perhaps.
Yeah, Demira goes inside.
Yes, inside works. Yes.
And I follow Demira.
I have no idea what is happening. We seem to be encountering many different mysteries coming. First, the sun disappears, and now we have missing people, and now we have you four. I don't know what the meaning of this is, but you should be very wary in your travels. That creature said he was looking for you. Whatever this mark is, it feels more like a target.
It did. I was trying to tell you earlier, Bork, but then I saw the fighting. My mark was like hurting and feeling weird, and so I came to find you, and then I saw that you were in trouble.
That's odd. So you began herding right before this happened?
Yes.
Still, though, a target. I don't know. It's possible. You probably know these things more than I. It's just, why would one make a pilgrimage to a target?
It didn't seem like it wanted to hurt me. It just, like, said that and then left. Maybe they just want to witness
Stranger.
us?
Well, can't blame them.
Demira gets flustered.
Well, Fae and Oryx don't necessarily come from the same place, but that creature may be long gone. You may decide to seek it out. It couldn't have gone far if you can find it amongst the trees. My
And whatever
concern,
you do.
my concern right now is these creatures are coming in. Not all of them may be good creatures, and this place doesn't have the tools to defend itself against any supernatural threats. Why, the mayor and I could probably put a stand against one or two of them, but we are no warriors at the end of the day.
You shouldn't worry about that. We're leaving.
To where, might I ask? What does two holy people, pointing to Doc and Misty, and two very heard you were engaged, to a traveling couple plan to go from here?
The doc doesn't say anything when he says holy person, but he kind of just looks over at Misty.
I'm not sure where the couple is going, but we have plans, right, Doc?
We have a semblance of a plan, which is go north.
That is basically what we are doing as well.
It seems our plans have aligned then.
It would probably be
Coincidentally, as it was.
safer to travel together.
Indeed. Especially with one as skilled as this. Did you see what he did to that one skelly? I was just about to strike it when all of a sudden he caused black spire magic to
It's
come out of it.
very dangerous to travel with someone so loud as you, because we will be heard miles away.
Well, if you're a target, they're gonna know where you are anyway.
Well,
Well,
I, for one,
Besides,
won't-
if I'm loud, you can stick to the shadows, and their eyes will be on me. I'll keep you safe. Nothing will go near you.
Precisely.
He's very good in battle.
Ah, forgive me, but where are my manners? And Doc will step forward and offer a hand upwards to the much taller individual. Hey, my name is Crawford Holiday, but you can call me Doc. A pleasure to meet you.
I take his hand, and I tend to be very gentle when I shake his hand.
That's good.
I don't know if I succeed, but I tend to be.
The name's Bork.
And I just give him a firm shake.
I imagine like his entire voice like rumbles Doc's body when they shake hands.
Probably.
Yeah, yes, well met, Bork. And who is your betrothed?
This is the great Demira, fate blessed, or fate
Let's see about
marked.
that.
Fate marked,
Oh.
yes. Her strength and courage, she doesn't even know yet. It wells up inside her. Trust me, when time comes, she'll shine brighter than the sun that's missing.
I'm just a fortune teller. I mean,
But a skilled one, yes. Hmm?
I suppose.
And
Contradictory to Bork's explanation, Doc just kind of motions to the woman behind her and goes, That is I actually don't know her name, but that is my companion.
huh. Odd. So tell us, what is your name? Other fate marked.
You can call me, let's just say Misty, or his companion if you wish so.
Misty, his companion. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Well, now, can we go on with this nonsense and actually talk about important things?
Indeed. There's missing people. We should help them.
That's not important. Important is why we have to go north, why we are targets, how to remove the mark. That's important.
Well, I'm sure that's important on a deeper, more personal level. But finding missing people is good too. Important. They're missing. And we might get paid shinies to find them. Maybe. Possibly.
Well, maybe is maybe, and it's not good for me. Otherwise, I don't want to. That something would happen to me for people I don't know and I don't care about.
I do understand where you're coming from. You have no stake in the matter. I haven't even seen you in combat, so perhaps
It would take me a minute to get you down.
No, that's quite a while. I can understand then why you might hesitate. But Who knows? If the mark activated when you're near danger or when danger occurred, perhaps it'll help you in battle too. And therefore, the only real way to understand your mark is to go into battle.
That actually does kind of make sense.
No, the amount of gold, specific amount of gold would make sense. This is not making sense. If we don't get any money, Doc and I are going.
Doc and I are going. That seems so strange to hear, not from my own mouth.
Yeah, I look down at Doc and I go,
Are you sure you're not Doc, her companion?
Oh, she's made it quite clear that there is no manner of companionship between us, believe me.
That was before. Now it's us, Doc, and they.
Now you need me.
No, I don't need you. I'm just stating that we are supposed to go, nor you and I, because that thing said, and we agreed to do that, okay? So this is us. And we will go, unless there will be coins. I need coins, definitely need some gold, lacking it. But yeah, so really, what's about these missing people? Is that an opportunity to earn something?
Willie, okay. Yes, you, if that's what you want to do, you could head to Walter's house. His son is missing. His son Simon, my nephew. He's held up some money. There is a small reward if that is important. Like 4 gold pieces or something. I'm not sure how much of his savings he's willing to part.
4?
It's his life savings for his son.
Whoa, I'm in.
But if you guys are looking to travel north, there is some people of the Pantheon like to go to these standing stones just directionally challenged, northeast of this town. There is a trail you can follow. You can arrive at the standing stones and maybe you'll find answers there. It has engravings within the stonework that tells the tales of the gods to an extent. If you're looking about your mark, whatever they may be, that's not a bad place to start.
Doc, I think we should take the second option.
I think we should take the first.
Doc
I think
goes,
it's a lot of money.
We could try to do the first one on the way, maybe?
No, that's true. We could go a roundabout path.
so why not simply do both?
Well, we don't know where Simon is. Last he was at is... He mentioned something about Luna Lake. Who knows what that means? You wanted to try to head that direction after the Standing Stones. That's not the worst option.
Do you have a map of the
Still
forest?
north.
Or know where we can acquire one?
I can draw you a map. Give me an hour. I can get you the basic directions, but
Well, that's just fine. I don't think we plan on leaving directly this night. Unless time is of the essence.
Wallace looks outside for a second, kind of looks towards the forest. He's like, as long as nothing else comes to greet you guys, per se.
So we can only really tell what time of day it is by how tired we are I guess.
Pretty much.
How tired are we?
About time to get some sleep. You know, so
Well, there you have it.
we don't need to worry about it. We can still think about it in like a 24-hour thing. It's about 9 p.m. if we want to think of it that way. You guys already had meals. You had stew. You guys settled into your rooms and whatnot. So it's not quite time to go to bed, but it's also, you know, not early enough to really try to start walking. Unless you want to walk in pure darkness, then go for it.
Oh, Doc will look to Misty and then look to the two new adventurers they've chosen to team up with and say, well, I suppose since how there's more than two of us now, it's time to engage in a bit of diplomacy. What do you two say?
Well, if the map shows us that we can move in a good enough pattern, there's a cave nearby with mushrooms, a possible alternative food source for these people that won't require the sun, and therefore they won't starve to death. I have it under somewhat good authority that they're willing to pay us for that as well. So we could move up, hit the cave, gather some mushrooms, go to the sanding stone, learn about the marks, head to the lake, get the missing boy, kill and smash anything that gets in the way along the path, loot whatever we can that doesn't belong to innocent people, of course, come back here and parade the day.
It will take ages.
Perhaps just a single age.
But yes, I could see maybe a few days. But at the end of those few days, we'll have answers, food, coin, loot, and some decent amount of know-how of each other's abilities and how to work with one another. You see?
Well, we will be dead. While
No.
whoever will hunt us down, because apparently now you have two marked people in the same group.
They weren't hunting us. The fey creature simply said something about a pilgrimage and then left after he saw me.
Yeah, because that little thing was really tiny against the orc. So yeah, that's what I would say. I would also pretend to be friendly.
I would too, in his place. But just think about it. I slew those other two skellies in, well, I mean, he helped with the one, but still, in a few seconds? Us dead? No, my dear. If death decides to march upon you, I will look him dead in his eyes and say, not today, sir.
I don't know from what kind of background you're coming, but that's not how life works. But
Oh,
whatever.
really? Do you see the massive blade behind me? That is Death's shadow. Owned by a one-man army. A giant who came to my city to destroy it.
You sound like nobility and my ears are hurting. So are we gonna do something or not?
I am not. I don't know what you're talking about. Not at all. No. Nope. I don't. What? Who said noble? Point is,
Because only they brag so much about nothing.
I killed it, is my point. Death should have come, but instead, and I'm not.
Oh, God, save me from this. But so we're Doc. What do you think?
Well, if time is of the essence, then we should perhaps get moving and carry this conversation as we travel. But if not, I left part of my soup upstairs and it is getting cold.
Well, I guess we could rest if we will take a few days time spending here and doing who knows what. Okay, I agree, Doc, with you. We will do that because that's what you kind of want, and we have to travel together.
Oh, we're doing what I want to do now. Well, that is good to know.
For once, at least. Yeah, we will do that.
So just that we're all clear, what's the plan then? Doc?
Sounds like we are resting and then traveling forward once we are well rested. You two just arrived in town, did you not?
Well, this morning, yes. We passed a couple... Hey, wait a minute. Come to think of it, I believe that was you. But yes, we just arrived here this morning.
Well... Yes, rest sounds good. Rest, at least for a few hours, and then, seeing how there will be no light to guide us anyway, once we feel well rested, we might as well venture into the now darker and gloomier forest. To the caves first, I suppose?
You can feel free to use the map and draw on the directions you want to go if that helps. For a visual cue. On this map on Roll20.
Is there only one set of standing stones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Correct.
okay. Yep, pretty much this line that's being drawn right here. And then, yep, up to Lunar Lake. And from there, we will reassess our plan and see what we have gained as far as knowledge and perhaps mushrooms. And proceed from there, I think.
Sounds about right.
Okay. The map is intended to take about 2 days to get through the forest. So got a couple hours of travel time from the cave to the standing stones. Sorry, from the crossroads to the caves, maybe 3 hours. And then you got a good chunk of the day to get to the standing stones, which means you'll probably arrive in the evening, and then have to travel to Luna Lake and then back down. So it's about a 3 to 4 day journey, if you're committed to that, based on this plan. Perfect. All right. So yeah. How do you guys want to? Any scenes you want to set up as you guys get some rest?
I would just go find myself a quiet spot and I would take my rest.
Sounds good.
The only thing... Yeah, go ahead.
The Doc would just inform the others that they're staying here at the church.
Yeah.
So we might as well meet back here at the church once we're done resting.
Cool. I want to have a scene with Wallace and Doc, if that's cool.
Sure.
Unless you intentionally
Yeah, Doc
avoid
will
him.
be around. No, Doc will be around.
Okay, cool. So Misty goes up and has a and goes into her meditation, her solace, because like your traveling companion, she has divine powers. I'm sure you can sense it. I certainly can. But I don't see a holy symbol on her.
Yes, her divine ability is to be a righteous pain in the ass.
But...
And I don't think that requires a holy symbol.
Fair, but there... It's just... It doesn't seem... Just... It is...
Doc's just giving him a funny look as he's stumbling over himself.
Just one second. And he goes over to a bookshelf, pulls out a book, and it talks about kind of like celestial beings. It's like a brief glossary of like Deva or angels and then demons and devils and sort of what that means. And he flips through this book and begins to skim. It's like, are you familiar with a term called plane touched? It doesn't happen very often anymore.
See how smart Doc is. He's got a 12 in. He might have heard of it.
Like, well,
I'm vaguely familiar with the concept, sure.
and he'll indicate to his book. Well, think of it like this: when certain people get a little too close to energies from other places, be it the heavens or the hells or the Fae or the Shadowlands or even the elemental planes, they can absorb that energy or something to that extent. And my theory is that she may have absorbed something that made her divine. I don't know if we can call it plain touched, but it seems like something very similar.
Doc sort of mulls that over for a second and says, well, perhaps. Be that as it may, does that spark some manner of intrigue to you?
Have you seen her cast the spell?
Oh, no, but I haven't seen her do much of anything besides stumble around in the dark.
Consider putting a focus in her hands and see what happens. But be prepared to duck.
Yes. I'd rather not give her anything that could work as a makeshift projectile.
Well, we have spare wands if you want to take one of those.
What
And
manner
just-
of wands?
Just simple wands, they can act as simple focuses.
Ah, I see. I suppose one wouldn't hurt if you have one just laying around.
Well, my daughter went to school in Kolor to become a wizard, so we have some of her wands from her childhood lying around. It's a good place to start.
Oh yes, especially for my companion.
And he'll go over to probably go up to his room, right? Leads you in, opens a small chest at the foot of his bed, and you can see an assortment of different kind of knickknacks. But there is a wand in a piece of cloth that is knotted with string. Kind of hands it to you. It's like, it's sentimental, but times are changing, so just
Doc will observe the wand, and does it have any? Okay, detect magic.
it's a focus. It's not anything
Sure. Worth a
special.
check.
A little you can see that it's not brand new either. It has some scratches, some wear and tear, but you know it seems like you could even channel your spells through it if you wanted to.
Well, I appreciate this kind gesture. I'm sure my companion will as well in time, maybe.
Just be wary. I don't know what is going on, and I fear, given enough time, bigger and darker things may show.
He'll sort of smile kindly and reach up and pat the man's arm or hand or thigh, depending on how tall this man is,
Mhm.
and say, "Do not worry about the darkness. It is only darkest just before sunrise. Our Father's soul will see us through once again. No problem."
Wise words. But there is, I don't know if your companion has taken the room from you, but feel free to sleep wherever you can find space.
Certainly. And thank you again, he says, sort of lifting the wand before stowing it in his robe or cloak.
Cool. And he kicks you out of the room. so he can see.
Perfect.
Anything else you want to do here, Doc?
Go back to my room.
Okay, Misty is probably, there doing something. What is Misty up to?
Sitting on a bed with her arms crossed, kind of thoughtful thinking, staring into one spot in a wall.
As Doc enters the room, he closes the door behind him and says, "Well, it seems our gracious host believes you have need of a spell focus.
What?
He believes you possess magical capabilities and thus offered a focus so that you could perhaps try and harness them, if you have such an interest."
Yeah, and I believe in the dragons playing, I don't know, stealing the princesses, holding them in big towers, and I don't know, doing something else. Uninterested.
All those things exist, though.
Yeah. My point is, I don't do those things. Okay.
So just to be clear, you have no interest in this focus that was given to you for free.
I'm not even sure what the focus is. Okay.
You focus on it to cast your spells.
Well, hello. I'm not a wizard and I'm not anything else. Okay. I'm just a person. Okay. My whole life, I've been just a person.
Uh-huh.
And
Uh-huh.
I don't know, what does that even mean, focus on a focus, and what's happening that we will get some stars floating around?
Maybe. Depends on what you're focusing on, I suppose.
Okay, whatever.
He'll pull out the wand, but he'll hold it over by the door. Be like, "Here, come get it."
Just give it to me.
No, you come get it.
I feel like you're making fun of me. Are you doing that just because I tried to blame you for trying to kill me?
My dear lady, I would never make fun of you.
I stand up and I just go and grab that thing.
And then I go take the bed back.
I will kind of just twirl it between my fingers and I will just like, yeah, that's a wooden piece. And what?
I mean, if you take the wand and look at it, you can sense as all magic users can to their focus. They can sense a brief connection, and I don't know, if you think of it like a spark, maybe you can think of it like that, or some sort of realization that perhaps this is more than it seems.
Right, then I get that feeling. I will kind of like look at it even more, and I would say, yeah, this is a strange piece of wood. What did you do to it? I look at Doc.
Doc's sort of like bundling himself up in the bed and goes, I put it through a magical spell creation process or something. I don't know.
So if I would
pulls a
wave
blanket
at
over his
it,
head.
something would happen, and I kind of like wave at it, and I'm pointing at Doc.
You have to say, magic words and actually focus or something.
What are the magical words?
Well, mine are usually very religious in nature, and I'm guessing it's not going to be the same for you, so just try a few. Say the first things that come to your mind.
Disappear, and I pointed with the wand towards Doc. It's not working. I don't know.
The blanket turns to light. Like it begins to get brighter and brighter.
Seems you need some practice.
Is that me or is that this thing?
Probably you, since how the wand itself can actually cast spells by itself, so...
But that is
needed
not
you to work.
possible.
And yet here we are with a glowing blanket.
Is that because of the mark?
It could be. You have been blessed by the Shadowlands, and we don't know exactly what that means yet. So it very well could be imparting some manner of magical nature upon you.
Do I have to always just now carry this thing to figure that out?
It doesn't have to be that thing, but it does have to be something to focus on. Could be a staff, or a pendant, or a ring. But for now, you have a wand.
I put it at the side, like the thing, the wand, and yeah, I'm not sure. I guess I need to rest.
Oh yes, well I left that. But Doc just kind of pulls the blanket over his head. He's disengaged from whatever Misty is now doing.
Misty probably will just stare at the wand for a bit, but then she will just fall asleep, kind of sitting in not a comfortable position.
Sounds good. This will take us to Demir and Bork. Anything you guys want to do this evening? I don't have any scene planned for you.
Just a very brief one with my companion, real quick.
So yeah, we'll say that she's already in her room. You basically commanded her to eat and go to sleep, but you see here, if you go into her room, you see her just kind of at a small kind of table that's set up just for one person, and seems to be scribing in a journal.
And we had agreed her name was Annabelle, right? Or
Abigail.
Abigail.
I think it was. Yep.
Abigail. Okay.
Abby, a moment.
Oh, I'm sorry, my lord. Come in.
No need to be sorry.
My room is your room.
I'm going to be gone for some days. I want you to stay here at the inn. I'll make sure to pay to cover you the expense. Wait here for us. We'll return soon enough, and then we'll continue on our journey up north.
Oh, well, where are you going?
Well, there's some things happening around this town that need helping. A cave nearby with mushrooms so that the people have food that need not the sun. A boy that's missing somewhere north of here at a lake. And some answers to what we experienced in the wood outside the previous city. The woman who kissed my betrothed. Well, wanting to get some answers to what it all means. I'm sure there's going to be danger, and I know that you're capable of handling yourself, but still, I'd rather you be safe.
She stands up from her position. She probably already stood up when you entered, as appropriate for someone of her status. Takes a couple steps forward to traverse the room, and you can see her her eyes, her feline-esque eyes, she just kind of lightly touches the side of your shoulder, down your upper arm. Just kind of gives a small rub. It's like, I'll stay here. Please be safe.
I promise. And you too.
Bye.
Feel free to take this time to do whatever you wish.
Much appreciated, sir.
Yeah. Well, good night.
Good night.
And I slowly close her door and head off to bed.
Okay. Before you go to bed, can you can you perceive for me?
I don't know. Maybe. Let's find out.
Worst roll of the session. Good enough. So you guys are at this inn, and you look out the window for a second. You're pretty sure you can see a person on a roof, looking down towards the inn. Has a hood up. You can see a longbow, kind of staring towards your room. And I think perhaps you make eye contact for a second before she disappears.
I just give a small smile and nod to myself, kind of like yup, she's doing her job. Good. As I head into the room.
Cool. And Demira, you have anything?
I don't think so. I think she would just go to bed. Actually, she might try to look into her glass ball and see if there's anything she needs to be worried about in the coming journey.
Okay, read aura, is that what it is?
No, that's just her fortune telling skill.
Okay, what's the mechanic?
There isn't really. It's just a lore skill that she can use.
Oh, got it. Cool, go ahead and roll. So, you kind of stare into the crystal ball and try to get a glimpse of what's going to happen in the next couple days, and you sit there and you just try to get through the fog that is now incorporating your orb. And we get this scene where we are on a lake, and there is a woman there, just kind of standing on the water itself. She has grayish skin, white, silky hair. She has the only piece of clothing or equipment she has on her is just this sword that she is holding in her right hand, no sheath. And she begins to leap and dance on the water, and does this thing. You don't hear a tune, but you can tell that it's a very rhythmic dance she is doing. It's not a dance you're very familiar with, and a couple people around the lake, you can see on the outer edges, seem to just be staring transfixed. Most of these people seem to be human. I'll take a religion check. You recognize this as, sometimes it's called the Moon Maiden, sometimes it's called the Sword Dancer, but she is a demigod under the command of the moon. Very similar to Dav, who you met previously, and the Grim Reaper, who Misty met previously. That sort of level of power. Not quite god status, but not, still an immortal being.
Would I know like her alignment generally?
she's on the chaotic side, leaning more towards good than evil, I would say, but probably still categorized as neutral. So we'll go chaotic neutral, I think, as a final answer, leaning more towards good than evil.
Okay. Okay, is that all she sees?
Yeah. I think this scene maybe lasts about 30 seconds. Until you lose sight of the vision.
Okay. Then she'll go to bed and think about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everyone is now getting sleep. Both some people are getting good sleep, some people are getting bad sleep, and we wake up the next morning at level 2. Congratulations. So you guys have already pre-leveled, or at least had a good idea of what you were grabbing. So go ahead and take about a minute to make sure you incorporate the extra HP, the extra skills and feats. And if you have any questions about that, we can take that real quick. For this game, I did kind of power level them from level 1 to level 2, but we will be going to EXP from here on out, but we'll largely do that off stream. And yeah, congratulations on level 2. Level 2 is when I think level 1 seemed really boring. Maybe that's just my opinion. But level 2 is exciting, right? There's a huge conversation going about Misty's nature. Every level is exciting. Do you wanna talk about that, or shall we keep that to ourselves? Yeah, you're muted.
Well, I am talking, and we already probably discussed everything.
Okay. Okay. That's fine. We'll keep it at that then. Then let's if everyone's cool, let's move forward to the next day where the sun rises, but you can't see it. It's pretty exciting. I imagine that there has been a natural instinct to sleep in because you're not waking up with the light like you're used to. There is the rain seems to have ended, but you can definitely see clouds in the sky, so it may rain later in the day. But it is kind of the season for that, and we are on the second day of summer. And we'll cut to let's I feel like Demira and Bork would rise up first. Kind of is my ascension. They are like the day people, and the other people are the night owls. But so we'll start with that. Anything you guys want to do before the party meets up?
No. Demira does want to talk to everyone about what she saw.
Okay. Party. So you guys had to meet up with the party after a brief breakfast. Doc and Misty, you guys can meet up as well. You'll be given some bread and cheese, not anything terribly fancy, but anything you want to do this morning?
I will take the wand, but I will hide it that nobody would see it because I kind of feel ashamed for having to carry it around.
Sounds good.
Doc praises the sun.
Doc praises the sun. Just look up to the sky, look for the sun, see it behind behind whatever is blocking it, and then
Lifts both arms and praises the sun for the morning.
I had a miniature that when I was playing in person had a miniature, and it was just this wizard with his hands up in the air like this. We just called him Victory V. That's a tangent. Okay, party meets up together. We'll say you're near the well, perhaps. The skeletons have been removed. It seems like there hasn't been any commotion about that, so you guys defeated these creatures fast enough where it didn't really cause any issue with the people here, and so no one seems to be aware of that conflict yet, at least. And you are at the well.
Hi, good morning. So last night before I went to bed, I looked into my glass bowl to see if there's anything we should be worried about, and I saw the lady of the lake. I think she is a demigod of the moon. I recognized her figure. She's also known as the Moon Maiden or the sword dancer, and she's not evil, or she's not particularly good, but she leans towards that. So I don't know if she's involved with the disappearance or if she's dangerous, but she seemed to. There were people staring at her while she danced, kind of transfixed. So maybe we should be careful about looking at her.
After she says this, I'm gonna lean in and very quietly say,
This one doesn't kiss you this time, does she?
Demira flushes red. It says, I didn't see anything like that this time. No.
Okay. No judgment, by the way. I just, wanted to know.
Yeah.
and then he leans back away from her and looks over at the rest of the group.
Okay.
Did Misty and Doc react at all?
To which part?
Everything.
Well, the
Good
kiss
question.
part was whispered quietly, so I don't know.
Sure.
You might not have heard that.
Yeah, we'll say for the sake of ease that Doc doesn't try and pry into this obviously whispered conversation. Although the facial reactions are probably quite funny.
They're betrothed. It's normal for couples, right?
Doc says, I'm beginning to get the sense that you have Fey knowledge about you, perhaps? What you've described seems like a very Fey sort of creature.
That would make sense, I suppose. I've never really known where my abilities came from. And I had them before I met Dav. So
At that, the Doc will kind of like glance at Misty, but he won't elaborate further. He'll just say, well, whenever we find that lake, I suppose we should do our best to avert our gaze should a woman come from it.
yes.
But I believe our plan from earlier, it looks up at the sun, whenever it was we came up with it. I believe that is still the plan, yes?
Yes. We have to go see Willie about his son.
Ah, yes, William.
Yeah, and also I'm not yet sure. Did we figure out how much we will be paid?
I think we're going to Walter.
To what?
And it is he who has money, possibly for gold, which he was going to pay noble gods, but they're some time away. So
I thought these 4 gold was the saving for his son.
yes,
No.
to hire noble godsmen to find his son.
Oh, I thought he
They're
saved the
all
money.
way.
Oh, we are those
Never
noble
mind.
godsmen now.
Exactly.
Okay. 4 of us, 4 gold each.
I mean,
That's
not
1
that
gold.
noble
That's
men
okay.
or anything, but yes, more or less. So
Well,
Okay, so let's go.
Inquire to payment, I suppose, or at least information.
yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so you walk over to Walter's farm. You can see fields of different sorts of vegetables. They appear to be, on the wiltier side now, not getting the sunlight for sustenance that it needs. But you see a barn, and you see a house, and you see a man beginning to work the fields as best as he can. Just a single man. We'll say he is in his mid-30s. No, he'd have to be a little older. So we'll say his early 40s. Just wearing kind of a very, very basic brown pants. Just a simple shirt. Seems to be wearing a hat, though it seems kind of dumb since there's no sun to really block the sunlight out of his eyes from. He has a tool belt of some sort, and he currently has a couple of farming tools that he's using to till the land and do all that sort of stuff. He looks exhausted as you approach. You can see just these bags under his eyes.
Perhaps one of the three of you should approach and talk out terms. People get a little jumpy when they see me first.
Oh, well, it is quite the coincidence then. I have almost the opposite effect. I will go talk to the man and see what I can learn. Doc offers.
Okay. So you begin to walk over to this man. This man hears you approach, kind of turns around, raises an eyebrow as he, very, very. It seems to just take a lot of effort. They take a couple steps closer to you to meet you on your route to him, because it's like, hello. We aren't selling anything today, but do you need supplies for something?
No, not at all. Well, no, I certainly don't, but my friends and I have come to inquire about your missing son.
Are you missing people too?
No, not yet, but that could change.
Hmm.
We intend to go into the woods, and we thought we might ask you as to the details of your missing family member.
I don't know very much. We're trying to get some guards from House Bulmods, but I received a letter yesterday that my request for help has been rejected.
Well,
but-
then consider me and my companions your B team.
Well, he's like rubbing his eyes and just trying to focus on every single word. Simon came to us on the day of the eclipse, and he was out on a hunting trip to try to get some rabbits, check the traps around the forest, and came back and swore he saw this woman. And he's a young kid. He has a very active imagination. Probably discovering his thoughts on women for the first time. And just having these fantasies, delusions perhaps, about seeing this naked woman throughout on one of the lakes. And the next day he was gone, and my guess is he went to go find this woman again and was kidnapped or killed or something. I
Both
don't
distinct
know.
possibilities.
I hope not. I remember when I met my wife, and I had similar. Anyway, but That's all we really know. If you find him, I can hand you the gold I was gonna pay the guards we were hiring. Otherwise, we are planning to get mercenaries to investigate. But I've been out there. I've checked the traps. They haven't been checked when he was supposed to check them. But we're hiring mercenaries from the capital if we can't figure this out.
Well, gold, you say? Well, I hadn't even considered that to be a possibility, but now that you've mentioned it, I suppose some gold would help us in our travels. It was 4 gold, yes.
Well, it's a collection of silver and copper, but it equates
Certainly.
to 4 gold.
Well, that will do our purposes just fine. Allow me and my companions to go have a look at these lakes and see if we can at least turn up the some sign of your son, one way or another.
He may not even have made it to the lake. He may have been on the way there, or
Do you have a map of the forest?
I have a general map where all the traps are. It's a little scribbled on, but perhaps you can use that.
Well, if you would, I happen to have a map that I have acquired in town. If you wouldn't mind marking the traps on the map we have here, that would be that'd be most gracious of you, just so we know where we're going.
Sure. And there are about 20 traps in various different areas, mostly on the southern half of the forest. That we can mark up as needed. As I need to mess with the plot.
Well, once he's done marking the map, Doc will take back the parchment and give him a bow of the head and say, "We will return to you." He looks up at the sky again and says, "Hopefully within the day, whenever that is."
Well, just be careful. I don't know what happened. There are, druids, I think we can call them, who live in the forest that, may know something. Kind of circles an area on the map.
Ah, what a coincidence. We happen to be passing directly by a couple of those locations.
I mean, they're just avoiding taxes, I think, but maybe that's not
Well,
necessarily a wrong thing sometimes, but
I'm not one to judge.
I appreciate this. If you find my son, or even just hints and clues about where my son went, consider the money yours.
Well, fantastic. In that case, we will see you when we've had success.
Gives a nod.
And Doc returns to the group and says, "Are you guys talking about someone being naked?"
No. Why? More important, how much he will actually pay us.
Handfuls of silver and copper, but it will equate to about 1 gold apiece.
Okay, good. So, shall we go?
If there is nothing further delaying us, I suppose. He looks to Demira and Bork.
I see nothing more delaying us. I say we go forth.
Yes, let's go.
Question becomes, in what fashion shall we go forth? Just so we understand things. Shall I go forward in case we come across something that'll hit me first? Or should one of you go first in case we come across one of these rabbit traps?
Well, I could move along quietly ahead of us just to scout and make sure the area is secure. So long as I know that you could be upon me shortly if I fall into something I wasn't planning on.
Oh, definitely, yes. I can move with quite haste and still be able to strike my enemy, so I'll stay close enough by you as long as I can see you, in case trouble occurs.
Fair enough, and you shall do your best to endeavor to protect those of us without armor, which is actually all of us. So,
Oh, of course, with the exception of myself.
with
Yes,
the exception of
definitely.
yourself, of course. Of course, of course. So, I shall go first, and I shall scout. Thankfully, I've done quite a bit of traveling in the past few days preceding this strange event of darkness. So I will move quietly through the bush, and Bork, you will follow, and the two ladies will follow behind you.
No, I am not following behind him. I am in the away from the road. I'm just gonna be somewhere. Like this guy said before, I will hide in the shadows.
I don't think there's going to be much road where we are going, but as you wish.
The shadow part, though, I think is her main point.
I see.
And that works. She could stick to the shadows. I'll be me. And therefore they won't look for her. Instead they'll look, oh look, there's an orc.
All right.
Well then, onward and forward.
Indubitably.
So you guys begin to head out and head towards this cave, and it is almost 12 o'clock Pacific time now. So as you guys begin to sneak forward, hide in the trees, Bork being his Borky self, as Borky is now an adjective we are going to develop, and we can establish what that means over the next couple of weeks. And I think this is where we'll fade to black. I don't think getting through the cave stuff is going to be a quick endeavor. So let's go ahead and fade to black here. And deal with the cave stuff and the standing stone stuff for next week. Next week will be our last session of the year. But we will be back in January. We're still establishing the dates for that. It looks like we will either be back on the 12th or the 19th of January. That's not the right month. The 9th or the 16th of January. But we still have one more session for you there. In the new year, we'll have everything on a podcast feed. We'll have a website up. We're working on some artwork and some music themes to come forward, and we will see that. But for those of you who aren't familiar with TTRP Theater, if you look down below us, this general direction, not at Lawrence, but at past that, you can see our schedule. You can see what we're all about, but most importantly, you can enter the Discord and you can ask me about what I do in Pathfinder. We have people who run World of Darkness, Monster of the Week, D&D 5th Edition. You can ask me about stuff I am writing personally. You can ask Lawrence about his Too Many Children, all those things, and we can have a pleasant conversation in the Discord. Otherwise, I do know that Throwing Bones had a new episode this week. I have not listened to it yet, but if you want to pitch your podcast real quick.
Yep, so I run an actual play I run an actual play podcast called Throwing Bones. We are trying to release weekly now, and so we'll see how that goes. But if you're interested, we're currently playing Monster of the Week, and we're approaching our 6th episode. You can find us anywhere you listen to your podcasts.
Spotify is my friend. All right. Perfect. With that being said, go check out. Oh, I don't know what games are actually running right now due to the holiday season, but if you join the Discord, you'll get updated on everything that's being set, and we will log off here. Say goodbye. Bye.